This video is presented by NewWoodworker.com. I've been using this Bosch 4410L sliding compound miter saw for almost 5 years. I recently got an email from someone asking if I still had this saw in my shop. That told me it was time to update this review with some new photos and add a video. The Bosch 4410L is powered by a tough 15 amp motor that's mounted high on the saw to give you all the clearance possible for bevel and deep cuts. The motor's power is delivered to the blade via a serpentine-style multi-rib belt. This kind of belt is frequently used on race cars because it runs cooler, doesn't slip, and lasts a long time. I've been using this one for nearly 5 years and it almost looks brand new yet. The shallow grooves in the belt and pulley dramatically reduce friction. The width of the pulley and belt and all those interlocking grooves make it very difficult for this belt to slip or come off the pulleys. This washer-like disc at the center of the blade contains the entire laser system, and there's no switches. The laser only comes on when the blade's spinning. I know this is very difficult to see with all these photo lights, but the laser is pretty easy to see in many lighting conditions. Dust control on this type of saw has always been terrible, but Bosch has got it figured out better on the 4410L than anything else I've seen. The handle is designed to be used easily by right or left-handed operators, and you can tilt the handle if you want to make the job more comfortable. Just put it where you want it and lock the buckle. The miter scale is large, clear, and easy to use. And Bosch included very accurate detents at commonly used angles. Bosch figured out how to mount all of the controls needed for operating the saw on the front, and that makes it way easier to use. And yes, that includes the bevel controls. Pull the detent trigger up and push this little plate forward to lock it in place. And that lets you engage the micro-adjust system that you will grow to love. This system lets you dial in the tiny corrections we need to perfect an angle. When you're satisfied with the setup, turn this handle in to lock the arm in place. The red strips to either side of the blade path can be adjusted in or out to best suit the job. Flip this handle up and the bevel function is released. This knob opposite of the bevel release lever lets you select left or right 45-degree bevels. Or you can turn it to maximum range and clear both of those bevels and use whatever angle you want. When you're satisfied with the bevel setting that you need for your job, you can push that red handle down on the front of the machine and lock that bevel setting in place. Each end of the work table has these pull-out supports. These extensions are tool-free and locked in place with the red lever. The upper fence extensions on both sides of the blade are also tool-free and fully adjustable in or out. All of the fence pieces have these hash marks engraved into them. I know this looks odd, but numbers are pretty much worthless on a saw that you can adjust both the miter and bevel angles. The up and down motion can be locked for transport. You can also adjust the depth of cut on this saw. This depth stop is also tool-free, and pushing the red button lets you make big changes real fast. The sliding motion is very smooth thanks to large ball bearings and these precision ground steel bars. Even after nearly 5 years of use, the sliding motion is still very smooth. And to help keep your fingers safe, Bosch includes this easy-to-use work clamp. One of the things that sold me on this saw was being able to use the detents they provide and get a perfect joint. With the saw set to that 45-degree detent, I added this work stop to make sure all the pieces would be the same length. And you'll notice that after every cut, I hesitate a little bit to let the blade stop. That's just smart on any miter saw you're using. And right off the saw, we can assemble the pieces and see that we're ready for glue. Now we'll try a 22.5 degree setting to make an 8-sided circle. Here again, I'm using the detent in the saw with no adjustments and just using this work stop to make sure the pieces are all the same length. And here's the 8-sided circle. I did have to sweeten up the ends on 2 of the pieces to get this circle to close like this. This saw also has detents for cutting crown molding flat on the table, and the angles are marked on the miter and bevel scales. I have the blade guard retracted on purpose so you can see the cuts. This is not how I use this saw normally. The manual has detailed instructions and a chart that shows you which of these markings to use for the different spring numbers in crown molding. Now we'll set the opposite bevel number and we're ready to make the second cut. Notice the work clamp because there's no way I'm going to hold this piece with the blade guard up, but you can see the cut. Keep in mind none of the detents were corrected for this cut. This joint closes nicely and is ready for glue. If you want a sliding compound miter saw, I think we've proven that the Bosch 4410L is tough, accurate, and stays that way over the long haul. And no, you can't have mine.